Hello, my name is John Lynch, and this is my assignment 2, Messenger.py for CSC Tree 76 Distributed Systems for Karen Hart. This assignment is about sending a message between a client and a server with no restrictions on who gets to send a message first, the amount of times a message is sent, or the amount of time it takes to send a message. Just an instantaneous message or app between two command prompt windows. To do this, we're going to import a few things at our start. We're going to import systems to get command line arguments. We're going to import our socket and create sockets. We're also going to import the threading from a thread library to create some threads to help this. As we are creating threads, because a socket is usually a one-way connection and we can't parse information back to the client from a server, we're going to have to create a thread in order to kind of patch up that problem. So I created two definitions here, message to send and message to get. It's going to take an input socket as its function argument. As the argument to the function is going to enter into a while loop. During the while loop, it's going to encode any messages that are inputted by the user. So pretty much user standard input, whatever is typed in. And this is going to break if there's nothing to type in pretty much. If a user presses enter, it's going to break it. And of course, if in a message to get, it's going to take a socket as an input. And then while true, it's going to use that socket that we get and decode whatever message we get from this function here. It's going to apply that to a variable and it's going to print out that variable. So pretty much this is where we type and this is what's printed out to the screen in these two windows here. So we could kind of use that to create some threads now. Threads are an easier way, or functions are easier to deal with threads. It's just more obvious. We're going to create two threads, a send thread and a receive thread, using the thread function. We're going to target our definition of message to send, and the argument we're going to input is the input socket, which is also from here. And then later on, we're going to see why we put a function argument there. And also, I have these two statements here that are true. That pretty much, I believe from Systems 2, we covered this processes continuing after we end the program. This is pretty much kills processes after we shut down our program. So we have a send thread and a receive thread. And after this, we're going to just return the two when we are done using the thread. Now, instead of using get to opt and parsing through a bunch of command line arguments, I just decided to use if the argument of 1 in a system command line prompt is -L, we're going to act as a server. So pretty much if the user types in -L after the Python file name, it's going to be a server. That's according to the specifications in the assignment. We're going to create a port number as the second argument, also according to the assignment. And then we're going to use a function, socket.socket. These two just create basic Python syntax to create a server socket. And we're going to bind the localhost and the port number to that socket. And we're going to be able to listen up to 5 clients. In this situation, we're just going to use 1. But now we have a server, and we're also going to get a connection and an address from whatever is accepted by that server. And then we're going to use that connection that we get from the server, so pretty much the IP of it, to create two threads called send from server and receive from server. And inputting this argument here is just going to create the input socket up here for this. And then likewise, it's going to go back to the functions up at the very top. We're going to enter a while loop, and while our two threads are alive, so pretty much while we're going to be able to send from the server and receive from the client to the server, we're going to continue until we don't have those threads alive anymore. We're going to close, and then we're going to print closing the server. Now, if we don't have a -L in our command line argument, it's going to mean that we are the client, and we're going to print starting client. Our port number will become system.argument v1, which is according to the specifications in the assignment. And also, we're going to create another socket called client socket using the Python syntax from above. We're going to connect to the hard-coded localhost as that we were allowed to in the assignment, but we could also edit this code a bit to allow connection to any IP given by the user. But for now, we're just going to use localhost. We're going to connect to the port number given to us by the user. And we're going to create a send from client and receive from client thread from the create thread function up here. We're going to input our client socket into that this time. Now we are going to have two threads that pretty much act as a socket. Excuse me, we're going to have the two sockets that act on the threads, and during this we're going to have another while loop for the client socket, and in the while loop we're going to have our threads continually be able to send and receive from each other until we don't do that anymore, and we're going to close the program, and then we're going to print closing client. And pretty much the way that this breaks is by up here, we can see in this, we need a message to get message to get is to decode the sent message, and if we don't get any message, we're going to break that. And likewise, that pretty much breaks this. What that pretty much means is if a user presses enter here at any point while the server and program is running, it's just going to kill the program. So according to this, we are going to start our program. So we're going to pi messenger.pi. We're going to put -l as our server. We're going to run as a server, and we're going to be on port 60. Now we're starting the server. Now we have pi messenger.pi. We're not going to put -l. We're going to put port number 60. And we're also just going to type localhost, even though it's already hard-coded. But just for simplicity's sake, we're going to use localhost here as well. And now we're starting the client. So now we can type hello from the client. And now you can see that whenever I press enter here, it's going to automatically print up there because it's using the threads of messages send and get. Hello from the server. Now this isn't a one-way connection either, so you can just do constant from either side. And also we can just go down here and see how it is sent to either one. And now if we do buy from the client, and here we're going to just press enter to make sure that we don't enter anything. And that's going to close the client because we didn't get any input. According to this, if we don't get any input, we're going to close the entire program. And after we don't get any input from that, this is going to break the other message input, the decoding of a message. You can't decode a message you didn't get. So it's going to break that. And that's going to kill the threads and close the server. So that is my assignment 2 for messenger.py. And thank you for watching.